I'd have to do some research.
Yeah, I'm not using it for the meeting, so I can't go in and show you, but.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because sometimes it you don't see it.
Right. I also had an adventure. I'm having an adventure with a Wi-Fi thermostat.
Oh my, Nest or something else.
Well, what happened is I got back to the house here in North Carolina, and I hadn't been here for a couple of months. And the temperature on the first floor was 84, and upstairs it was 108. And I had a heat pump runaway. There was a short in the circuit board and was bypassing the signals from the thermostat that was here. And short of having someone come in and check it every day, the obvious thing to do is to put a thermostat in the house that transmits the temperature that I can check daily. So, and I probably should have done a long time ago, but it's adventures in technology.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
It's hard when you're not there and can't do stuff either. So
Yeah, I have great neighbors that keep an eye on it, but they don't come in the house every day. I mean, they may come in the house. Well, one came in to take down the Christmas decorations and put them away for me, or at least get them off the front door. And it was okay back then. That was a couple of weeks ago.
yeah.
When are you feeling better?
I'm still congested and exhausted, but I'm better
Oh,
than I was. Haven't made, I think, as full a recovery as Bob did, but yeah. So I did half days in the office on Monday and Tuesday, but I'm working from home today and yesterday to see if I could try to get some more of the energy back. So
Was it
Is
COVID or their respiratory?
COVID. I got it January 22nd, so that's Sunday morning.
oh.
Take a nap. Yeah,
And I
Tried to take it.
decided, Lynn is.
I've been fighting an upper respiratory infection for like 2 months now. I've been to the doctors twice, tested for COVID. It wasn't that. They just say this thing just when I think it's over and the coughing will finally stop, I do what you're doing. It's like the nose starts and it goes through the whole cycle. I am so tired of fighting this thing. But they seem to think, you know, I'm doing everything I can. Can't take any more prednisone on top of the prednisone I'm already taken. So, oh well. I have a quick question. Sometimes, Lynn, you connect your phone to your computer. Could I do that sometime if I have a question about my phone? What kind of a cable do I get?
So the way I did it, I don't know if you have a USB, like take your charging cord. So the cord that you charge it, you can plug that one end to your computer.
Oh.
If it's if it's USB-C.
Yeah, yes, it
And
is.
then
Yes.
plug in yours, and then when you hit the share screen button, there should be iPhone. Oh, I don't know. What does it have? An Android version? When you hit the screen share mode, I have 4 options at the top: desktop, whiteboard, iPhone, iPad via AirPlay, and iPhone, iPad via cable. Do you have anything?
I see the iPhone, iPad, but I don't see, launch meeting, LibreOffice.
I'd be curious if you did the iPhone, iPad, and you did that and see if it picks up your Android.
Yeah, it's all plugged in over there. I don't want to go get it right now. I'll try it though next week, maybe.
I'd be curious to try.
Yeah.
And
Because it would be so much
Um,
easier to see whatever problem I'm having than try to describe it and hold the phone up.
Yes. Yes. The glare is definitely harder. But yeah, I would think that an Android would be just the same type of thing. I don't know why it wouldn't. But I'd be curious for you to try that.
Okay.
But that's how I do it. I was doing it with the AirPlay at one point, but then that's when we were having all those issues. So I gave up on that. Good question. So are you having problems with your phone or no?
Not today. It's that.
Any other? I know Chuck has some questions about his operating system too. Other things you guys want to talk about?
Take care of the
Yes.
important things first.
Just speaking of phones, I started updating my phone at your request, the operating system,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just sort of stuck on update requested. It's not doing anything.
So when you do the like download and install, it gets stuck in a limbo?
Well, it seems to be. It started downloading and now it just says update requested.
Huh.
So I went back and tried to start all over again, and that's what I came back to. It didn't allow me to start all over again.
Huh.
Oh, I feel better now. I really do.
Ah,
I wonder if it's just being super slow, like it's not connecting to the cloud quickly enough to download it. Or there's so many requests right now because you're all doing it at the same time.
Okay.
That's it. So I would restart the phone and try it again in a little bit.
Restart the whole phone.
Yeah.
Is it plugged into a power source?
It is now, yeah. Whoops,
Yeah, 'cause
which way?
sometimes it wants
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I didn't do it last night because I wanted to have it plugged in.
And sometimes it has to be at 50%. If it's lower than 50%, it's not going to install an update because it
Okay.
wants to save your battery. Because it's afraid that it will die in the process of installing.
Yeah, it's 89 now. I mean, when I
So I
opened
would
it up this morning.
think if you tried doing it, that wouldn't be the issue.
Well, maybe I'll turn it off and see what happens before the end of our time together.
So we have one person whose phone does not have that version. We've got another that's the request is in limbo. What other
Chuck?
variations of this do we have?
Just a non-technical question, since I see Bob and Jean wondering if you got to the barns to see the Mogliani exhibit and
We
what you thought.
did. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was
We
a
like-
sort of a rainy day and it was a good day to be in there.
Good.
The week before, we had been to the art museum for the Matisse. I didn't care for that, but I really liked the Modigliani and the way they did it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked his art style and how they
Right.
presented it.
Yeah, it was an interesting life. He and his art.
Friends.
And that Jean, who we have a puzzle my husband gave me of one of those paintings with Jean, and
Mhm.
it's just so sad, that story at the end. I can't forget that. But anyway, it was very, very informative.
If the others of you didn't get there, it's too late.
You can go to Paris.
Are you willing to fly us out to Paris?
Sure. I'll make the reservations right now.
She liked his phone.
Stephen,
Stephen's joining us.
oh,
Yay.
good.
Does that phone still work?
Hi, Stephen,
That's
how
the
you
phone he
doing?
uses.
He's muted.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it does.
And it has
At
a
least
real
it's not
bell
dial.
in it.
I was hoping for a dial.
I was looking for a rotary.
Yeah.
Steven, how you feeling? It's good to see you.
He's on mute.
But he's not trying to talk.
Can you hear?
Maybe we're muted. I don't know.
Stephen,
Okay, I just started my phone again. I'm on update requested still.
Huh. That's interesting.
Oh, there it goes. 2 minutes remaining. We're back in
Ah,
order.
great.
Yay, if in doubt. And kicking doesn't
Off.
work. Try turning it off.
It's usually
you.
the go-to. Go to fix before Google or me. Are there things you guys want to talk about or?
what was the topic you were listing in your email yesterday?
Well, it's
Have
the thing
you-
that's connected with AI. It's on the
I don't know if you guys have heard of ChatGPT. It's a new AI program. Oops. I could show you an 8-minute introductory video if that you find that helpful or not. But I don't want to waste your time if you're not. But it is something that will probably, I don't know if you guys have heard this, be the next evolution of searching on the internet. So I
There's an
want,
article in this morning's Inquirer on it,
oh, really?
op-ed by faculty member at University of Delaware.
What does he or she say about it?
Jean read it, I didn't.
No, I didn't read it. I didn't read it. I'm tired. I didn't read it, but I've heard radio articles about it.
Hmm.
How some students are using it to write their reports, class reports, and I guess partly it was talking about the pros and the cons, goods and the
Mhm.
bads.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So, if we can show you the video if you're interested, but the basic idea is that it's built this operating system that's all AI based. Maybe if I can get to it. And you can type in any prompt that you would like, you know. And here are examples of things you could do. And have it answer anything. So, creative birthdays for 10-year-olds. What does an AI recommend? So
Yeah, but that's not putting words in anyone's mouth or like, like
so
the.
let me show you guys this video because it's going to explain better than I am. I think I shared sound. Yes.
Lynn, when you say AI, artificial intelligence,
Yes, yes, thank you. Sorry. Yes, this software reminds me of the movies. When you start, you create a robot, and then you start teaching it things, and it starts learning things, and then it becomes smarter than you. That's what this is.
How many of you know what ChatGPT is? Okay. So not very many. So I'll tell you what ChatGPT is, just so you know, because you need to know this. And I don't know what sort of technological revolution this is. Gutenberg press level? It's something like that. This is a big deal. So this AI system, it's a general language processing model, was released about a week and a half ago. And I went and interacted with it. It's an AI system, artificial intelligence system. It basically is trained on, well, a massive corpus of spoken or of text. So it's derived its models of the world from the analysis of human speech, essentially. It isn't using real world data yet, but that will be happening certainly within the next year. So, and ChatGPT analyzes a very large corpus of text, and that corpus is growing all the time. Now, it's already sophisticated enough. I went on to it last week and I said, okay, some of you know I've written these books, 12 Rules for Life, and then Beyond Order, 12 more rules, because, you know, you can't have enough rules. And I asked it, this is what I asked it to do. I said, write me an essay that's a 13th rule for Beyond Order, written in a style that combines the King James Bible with the Tao Te Ching. That's pretty difficult to pull off, you know? Any one of those things is hard. The intersection of all three, that's impossible. Well, it wrote it in about 3 seconds, 4 pages long, and it isn't obvious to me, for better or worse, that I would be able to tell that I didn't write it. Right, and okay, and that's pretty impressive, although, you know, maybe not its relationship to what I've written, but the fact that it could do that grammatically perfectly, right? And quite impressive philosophically. I also had it write an essay on the intersection between the Taoist version of ethical morality and the ethics that are outlined in the Sermon on the Mount, which it just nailed, got that dead right, brilliant. Again, it took it about 3 seconds. There was a computer engineer who purported to work for Tesla. He asked ChatGPT, he said, look, I work for Elon Musk, but I haven't been doing much for the last week, so I need you to write me 10 bullet points about what I probably would have done as a engineer at Twitter. What 10 things did I do last week that were productive and valuable? And oh, if you don't mind, write me the accompanying computer code that goes with each project. And it did that too, 3 seconds, and the computer code works. Right, and so, okay, so that's already there. So then a university professor did this. He thought, oh, that's interesting. Any student will be able to write any essay on any topic with ChatGPT. And someone gave it an SAT, by the way, and it scored about as well as the average student in a well-functioning public university. So that's how smart it is. So that's basically an IQ test. He said, write me an essay, gave it a topic, wrote the essay. He said, now grade it. Said, if we can automate the students, we should be able to automate the professors too. And so it provided a complete, comprehensive analysis of its own essay with grade. It wrote, someone else asked it, write the screenplay and describe the characters for the next $900 million Hollywood blockbuster. It's like, bang, plot, characterizations. Then someone else took the descriptions of the actors and said, generate photorealistic computer images for each actor. And all the AI systems could do that. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. This is going to happen this year. So get ready. Okay, so now we have an AI model that can extract a model of the world from the entire corpus of language. all right? And it's smarter than you, and it's going to be a hell of a lot smarter than you in 2 years. So you can get ready for that too. But it's not that smart yet because it's just a humanities professor at the moment. It doesn't test its linguistic knowledge against the real world. That's what a scientist does, right? You come up with a theory that's linguistically predicated, and then you throw it against the world and see if it sticks. And then the world tells you whether or not your linguistic construction is valid. But the new AI systems will be able to extract out patterns from the world itself, from images and so forth, and then be able to test their linguistic constructions against the world, and so they'll practice just like scientists. And the most advanced models are going to use text and image and action as well, because they'll be able to model human action. And so, and all of that's going to come down the pipes within the next year. So hang on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because what did my friend Jonathan Pajot say? Giants are going to walk the earth once more, and we're going to live through that, maybe. So anyways.
In terms of our rights, though,
Yeah.
that is not a bad development.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Elon Musk, one of the things he's working on, see, he thinks that the world will be controlled by whoever produces the most functional AI system the fastest, because there'll be a first mover advantage. And one of the things Musk has been working on for a long time are distributed AI systems, so that you'll have your own artificial intelligence to protect you against, well, let's say against Google's artificial intelligence, for starters. Yeah, or the CCP's artificial intelligence, because you can bet your hat they're working on that about as fast as they possibly can. So I was talking to him about ChatGPT and about the things I was telling you on the AI front. And he's just developed a chip that's optimized for AI, and he told me about it about 2 months ago, and he said, "You heard of the internet?" And I said, "Yes, Jim, I've heard of the internet." I said, well, my chip's way more revolutionary than that. And he's designed all the chips in your iPhones, by the way, so this isn't a person to take lightly, and all the chips that Intel used. And then he went to AMD and made a bunch of chips that competed against his chips at Intel successfully, and then he went back to Intel and made a bunch of chips that competed against his AMD chips. And this is Jim. And so he's been telling me what's been unfolding on the AI front. Jim Keller, you can see a podcast I did with him recently with Jonathan Pajot, where we were trying to sort out whether AI is the rough beast that's slouching towards Jerusalem. And so you can check that out. But he came up with a proposition for me based on this ChatGPT. He said his AI model's built to generate photorealistic movies in no time flat, including real-time video interfaces of a given person that are indistinguishable in voice and appearance from the person. So he said, why don't we build a replica of you and then train it on everything you've said and written, and then you can interview it on your YouTube channel. And I said, well, how long will that take? And he said, about 3 months. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
So
Whoa.
I find it interesting that background music enhanced my feeling that I was watching a horror movie.
It was spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I caught that too.
I'm terrified. Lynn, I want to know what your impression is.
what might make you even more terrified? Bing, the search engine, bought this program, and they're going to integrate this into their search engine. So I don't know how exactly or when this is going to happen, but their idea is when instead of searching the way you do on Google now, you'll be searching through this AI process, and which is going to completely change the way we search for things on the internet.
During which time it's going to get to know us and get into some of this more scary stuff.
Right. And the big challenge is, as he said, like the people that are using it now are feeding it as it gets more information from humans, it's going to get some good information from professors and people just trying to, write me this essay because I'm too lazy to do it, versus people writing fake articles for a newspaper, or as it was starting to lead into, write the speech that this politician might say, and it's just going to see the best and worst humanity, which how does it navigate that? So
we say internet, will it be internet? Will
Yeah.
it be something else?
Good question.
but it's clearly going to be what the future is headed in some way, because it sounds like a lot of these big, tech people are all trying to create their own at the moment. So it's only a matter of time before it becomes our reality as well. Whether it's good or bad. And like anything, it has some good things. Like the internet was started with a great idea, right? Like, let's make communication available so everyone has all the information. And look at what it has caused. Good and bad stuff has come out of that. So
College kids writing papers. It's like the internet replaced libraries. This will replace paper writing, conceivably.
or the human thought process, or analogy, like writing in your own style, the creativity of humanity. But I have been reading some articles that they have started to find some code and things that teachers can then determine, does this look like an AI computer model? So would a student possibly have written this? So it's again playing catch up, right? They first release this, and then there's a little bit of catch up till teachers can figure out how they can, check and see.
The article I listened to yesterday, a student had inputted stuff to write a paper, and at the teacher's instruction, and the teacher read it, and it was very good. He said, as an experienced teacher, I could tell that it was not written by a 17-year-old. It was just too smooth. It was too correct. The grammar was all correct. The punctuation was all correct. Everything was too perfect. So he said he would have caught that, but not everybody would.
And my question is, in the prompt, do they say, write this as if a 17-year-old would write it?
Yes.
Because if you added that prompt, maybe you would add a spelling mistake or a couple grammar issues.
And no, that was one of the prompts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but it becomes like a wheel in a wheel, because then the teacher uses the AI to determine whether the student wrote the paper in the first place, and it becomes iterative. I mean, if you know what I mean. I mean, that's the way you determine whether the student actually wrote the paper or not, by using the program itself.
The story I saw on I think NBC, Stephanie Goff did it. Did anybody see that? She talked about it, and then at the end she said, write, and I'm not going to, I'm paraphrasing what she said, but write a ending to this story that throws it back to the anchor desk as a person, blah, 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 she's describing herself, writes it, and like instantly it had written it. And it sounded great to me, but they all said, well, it doesn't really sound like you. But just Joe watching TV, I wouldn't have known the difference, because it did sound like it was very good. The only thing I would have said is it was probably too long, because she ended, it was end the presentation and throw it back to the anchor or something. But usually they just come to a stop and say, back to you guys, or they say, whatever. And that's the only reason I might not have believed it, but I wouldn't have known that. It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as this and deep fakes get integrated into social media, what is truth? And
Yeah.
how do you determine what is real and what is not?
And how do you know who to believe? Is it the real person or is it the AI version of the real person?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Again, things that we don't yet know the answers to or what it will evolve to. But we should be aware of and keep our eye out on the development of it. And it's one of Elsa was the one that reached out to ask, is it safe to use this? And I was like, what do you mean by safe? Because sure, if you need something written up real quick that, you don't want to take a lot of thought, maybe it's safe to use, but do you want to give it that prompt so that it now has that in its library of knowledge too?
Lynn, in your recap that you'll do for today's meeting, can you put a link on for that? I'd like to pass that on.
The video or to actually play with it?
Oh, I don't want to play with it. Thank you. Like I said, terrified. No, just the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What information, what other information, personal information are they getting from you when you're going to get something from them?
So yesterday when Elsa asked about this, I created an account with them just to see what it would do, because I didn't want to send her stuff before I got to play with it. And it was interesting when I created the account, I got these prompts when you first did it. Our goal is, to improve our systems. We have safeguards in place, but it may generate incorrect or misleading information and produce offensive or biased content and is not intended to give advice. So it gives you that disclaimer, but how many people will see that or, think about it? And then it also says, may be reviewed by AI trainers to improve our systems. Please don't share any sensitive information in your conversations. But could people put, addresses, names, ages in it? And then feedback. It wants us to tell it, is this working or is it not? So I found those pop-ups fascinating when I created an account. I don't know if you guys have
But
any.
you could give not only your own information, but information about somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and probably you could add photos or things like that too.
Misinformation too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
How much personal information did it gather for you to sign up?
It said that it would take my name, my email, but it also wanted my phone number to confirm a second authentication, which I did not want to give it. I was happy to give it my spam email, but I didn't want to give it my contact information.
So were you able to get an account without them having your phone number?
I did not see a way to do that. So I went in afterwards and changed it to a different. But
Changed it to a different,
phone number where it was a landline, so they couldn't send me texts and things.
okay.
But not everybody can do that.
What is a spam email?
Oh, I think I've talked about this before.
Oh,
So I have multiple emails because I'm a weirdo. I have my church email for all the church communications. I have a personal email for friends and family. And then I have a email that I call my spam email, which I give to companies and
Oh,
things
okay.
that I don't want them to have. I don't want to filter that through either my work email or my personal email.
Yeah.
If it gets hacked, I'm not super worried about it, but it's where I go to sort coupons and all that stuff from.
Okay.
How often do you check that?
I have it in my email, so I can switch between all three all at the same time. So I could check it at any point. So I just have it open. I sort through it pretty quickly. Delete most everything from it, but
How do you do that to have several emails and be able to say open them all at the same time or in the same window?
so depending on how you view your emails, most of you, I think, view it on the browser, like AOL.com.
Mhm.
I use a program called Spark,
I've heard that.
which is a provider, and I have 4 emails here that I can switch between. So right now I'm on my church email. I can switch to, Gmail, iCloud, my Yahoo, but different things like that. So it's pretty easy to do. I mean, Outlook does this if you use Outlook. Apple Mail
Yeah, Mac Mail
has
does
this
that.
option.
Yeah.
The mail app that is defaulted on PCs does that. There are a bunch of other third-party ones that you can do on your computer as well. None of them are perfect, but it's a nice way to easily switch between
So we
them.
have
Well, I do-
Verizon.
I
Oh,
do
sorry.
something similar with an email that I've had from back around 1990. And it eventually evolved into an app on my iPad that I look at every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But we have AOL.
Mm-hmm.
So could we
Yeah,
do
I
it
do
on that,
too.
or would we have to go to
Mhm.
Spark? Or
So
I have one like that, and I check in maybe 3 times a year.
Mhm.
Quite extensive.
Yeah, so what you can do is if you download any of these third-party Outlook, Spark, you can't do Apple Mail. I wouldn't. But there's multiple options. And when you download that software, it will ask you to connect your email accounts. And you could log into your AOL email, you could log into your Verizon email, you could log into your Gmail, your iCloud, your Comcast, whatever it might be, and load all however many you have. It doesn't matter where they're hosted. Obviously, the church email is not going to be anywhere close to, Gmail or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because if I'm in our primary email and want to check the other one, I can't make the switch without actually closing out of our primary,
Which
starting
is
from
cumbersome
scratch.
and annoying.
Yes.
And
That's why
you
my
could
ears
have
perk up.
Aqua email as well if you wanted to do that.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I could just keep that forever, even after I stop working there.
Yep, as long as they don't lock you out.
They probably will. I wouldn't do it anyway.
Lynn, is it your real name on both accounts? Both emails? I mean, it's not, you don't.
My contact information's all the same for
Okay.
both. So it's not like I changed my name to, Mikey or whatever, for the spam one. I'm sure you could do that and just get more creative. You just then need to remember it.
Yeah.
How do we know that this is really you in the square? You don't quite sound like Lynn that I remember. You sound more stuffy and
I'm a deep fake, you're saying? A live
wondering.
interactive deep fake?
And fairly new glasses.
Yep. Guess that's it's a good question. Hard to say. Thankfully, I don't think that technology is sufficient enough for everyday use live yet. I don't know if you've ever watched any of the new Star Wars things, but that's how they recreated Princess Leia at the age of 15. And they had a whole character. He had been dead for 30 years, and they brought him back to life, and it looked completely like him, and it sounded like him. So this technology exists. The more photos, the more videos you have of yourself online, the easier it's going to be. And we talked about the fake Tom Cruise talk account.
can't get it off.
A long time ago, we used to say on the internet,
I can't get
on the
this
internet,
off.
nobody knows you're a dog.
I'm sorry, Bill, I missed that.
A long time ago, back in the early days, we used to say on the internet, no one knows you're a dog. And because literally, there's no proof of that you are who you say you are.
Well, we've had catfishing since the internet was born, you know,
Yeah.
saying that they're this age, and you're seeing a lot of people falling into romantic spam, ransom attacks because people claim, oh, I'm a single XY, and they, show
And
up
in extreme circumstances, they disappear.
Well, one of the lines was, I'm stuck in Libya, send me money so I get home because I have a sick mother or something. I mean, it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, but if they have this new AI thing do it, the grammar will be good, so we'll never catch them. Now you know it because their grammar's wrong or their spelling's wrong. But if they start doing it with that, it'll sound really real.
Yep. Well, and the news has accidentally shared things. I know there was a viral video of President Obama a couple years ago when he was in office that people thought was real. And it wasn't, but it went around social media and everybody thought. So my general rule that I tell people is don't believe anything on the internet is real. Just slowly do your process of elimination of why you think this is legit. But I'm a cynic.
With all that capability out there, you can imagine what a large government can do with it that has infinite resources. Governments
are not fighting like with boots on the ground anymore. It's all cyber warfare. There was some documentary I saw recently. I can't remember what it was that talked about that. But and I think some of you saw that documentary Netflix did about Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. So that's another variation of it. But as you know, the best thing we can do is just stay educated and be aware this exists and tell others so others are aware. If this worries you, become a hermit and don't use the internet.
Hey, go to a deserted island.
It's a far cry from the movie Wag the Dog.
I don't know if I know that movie.
Oh, I can't remember exactly what it was about, but there was it was in the United States, and somebody was running for office, and the way you win was running for re-election. The way you win is to have a war going on, and you always get reelected. And so he hired production crew, and they were under strict security restraints, and they filmed a fake war and then put it on the news as the fact that this is what's happening, and this, I don't know whether we are getting invaded or somebody else is getting invaded. Anyway, it was a very realistic war, and a number of the people involved in the production just disappeared after the election.
Mhm. Well, it's like the broadcast war of the worlds, in the 1940s.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And, all of these science fiction movies and books are coming to reality in some ways. So.
I couple that with how amazing it is, the things people believe. Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
A lot of gullible people, sometimes us.
Well, and you want to believe your version of reality, right? Like sometimes it's easier to believe, fake news because it's easier to digest than what's really happening.
Yeah, you believe what you want to believe.
Mhm.
This is a very uplifting conversation.
I was just thinking that.
We need some comedy
Yes,
at the end of the
some
day.
jokes.
Mm-hmm. And you have anybody good? I'm a terrible joke teller. I don't know if anybody else is a good comedian.
Two guys were walking along the beach and they discovered a brass lamp. Mute yourself. Mute. I'm getting echo from Gene there. Okay. They were walking along the beach. They discovered this brass lamp, and the one picked it up and rubbed it. And before he knew it, the genie popped out. And before he could even give his wish, the genie turned him into a crab. And the other guy said, "What on earth did you do that for?" And the genie said, "He just rubbed me the wrong way."
Hey, let's do my upgrade.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot Chuck had something he wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Do we have time to do it?
Go for it.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Something I've been putting off for a while is upgrading this Mac. And it's time to finally do it. So I went to Apple and they told me, actually, where did it go? How to upgrade your Mac is to go to your preferences. There are about this Mac, which is this folder,
Mm-hmm.
and it says software update. Click here,
Mm-hmm.
which is all in this litany here. And when I click on that, I get this box.
Mm-hmm.
It's suggesting that I upgrade all the way to Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Ventura is 13.2. I currently am running Mojave, which is 10.14.
Mm-hmm.
So also on Apple's site is how to upgrade to Ventura. And here's your compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have an iMac Pro.
Mm-hmm. From what year?
Well, that's what this box is for with my hardware thing. And I'm guessing that this model identifier is iMac 19.1, which I'm assuming is 2019 January.
I would assume.
Okay, so that would mean that I should be okay to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of concerns me. Is it realistic to jump three operating systems from 10.14 to 13.2?
It won't hurt it. It will probably slow the computer down dramatically more because you didn't go through the slower models of it. But it's not going to do any harm. You could, upgrade to 11 or 12 if you want, and you can download
Well,
it.
Catalina is 10.15 and Big Sur is 11.
Mhm.
And then
You
Monterey,
Go ahead.
no, and then, Monterey is even newer than Ventura. Should
Thank
I,
you. I couldn't remember the order.
well, I kind of sought them out a little bit to figure out what was going on here. So the question is, should I go through like Big Sur first before I go to Ventura?
I guess, yeah, the question for you is, do you want to go to Ventura eventually? Because
I don't know anything about it, frankly. I'm
Mhm.
just going from what my operating system is suggesting that I do.
yeah,
And I don't know whether I need that big of an upgrade or what. I know I'm going to lose some of my software that I'm frustrated about, but I don't have a choice.
right.
All of my Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, and Excel can't upgrade anymore with this version of my operating system. And I use those more than I use, Photoshop and InDesign.
Would they still work on Monterey or any Big Sur or any of those?
I would think so.
You
'Cause
could
it's telling me that
try.
it can't upgrade anymore. It can't upgrade those Microsoft products anymore within this operating system.
Oh, within Mojave.
Within Mojave.
I would think they'd be compatible in any of the newer models then.
Yeah, they're working right now, but they're working slowly.
Mhm.
And I assume that they will work much better with anything newer than Mojave.
Mhm.
Question is, should I go in step sequences? Or should I just go straight to Ventura? And I don't know what Ventura is going to give me
Mhm.
because I don't know enough about it.
Ventura definitely probably has the most security updates and ways of protecting yourself. It's going to look much different than Mojave. But I haven't minded it at all.
But you've probably done step
But
A.
I
and
slowly
B.
went through all of them, but you'd have to, it was one of those, like, if you want to go the long way and do each one, you'd want to do a month or two on each version, but then you have to relearn everything.
Yeah. So
But
do you know, Lynn, if there's anything between Big Sur, which is 11,
mhm,
and Ventura, which is 13?
there's dramatic look wise, much different. It's much more similar to an iPad or iPhone. They're trying to like make it more familiar for those who use those interchangeably. There's some nice new perks in Ventura, but nothing that I think you would necessarily miss dramatically. And I can't think of exact examples off the top of my head, which is terrible. I'm blaming COVID brain, but
Is
Well,
there
I
a
guess my
place
question-
where you can go and see a chart that shows different features of different operating systems?
I know there's a page on apple.com that allows you to download all of the different older models. I don't know
Oh.
if there's a chart on that one. I would
you-
think it
Do
would
you
be.
know whether there's a version between Big Sur at 11 and Ventura at 13? Is there an intermediary step there?
There should
that
be a
that I
12.
haven't found.
There's Wikipedia has a list of all of Apple's operating systems.
Okay, and you're saying that I could get any or all of them somewhere on apple.com?
Yes, if you Google download Big Sur or whatever it might be. It will have it, a full list of Mac versions. Oh, wow, it goes back to 2001. Thou Captain. I see her, Mojave. Mojave was 2018.
Yeah, that was what was on this computer when I got it.
Catalina was October 2019. Big Sur was 2020, November. Monterey was October of 21.
Where are you?
Septa.com. And then Ventura, it was this fall. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
So it has a brief summary. But it also has a list of problems and things that people find. I don't know, Bill, do you have recommendations as someone who worked in computer world for so long?
What's that?
I asked Bill if since he worked in IT for so long, if he had a suggestion of going slowly progress or jumping to the newest operating system.
I actually suggest you go intermittently. Just in case there are major changes that for some reason the company didn't incorporate in each update. Backward compatibility.
Yeah.
The second update may skip something that was in the first update. So you want the first update so it's complete, and then the second update is complete in their eyes, et cetera, et cetera. That would be my approach, but that was only a 20-year career, so.
Well, here's another question.
Well, back at the beginning, we had an IT group that tested everything. So when a new operating system or a new version came out, we didn't go immediately to it. It might be 6 months we went to it, but we had people who did that almost full time, checking out new versions. But that was, you know, what, back in the 90s. Since I've been retired, and that's been about 15 years, I've pretty much gone to new systems after they come out, maybe wait a couple months, and look for problems. But lately, I haven't gone to that trouble, actually. I have some of my devices on automatic upgrade. My iPad, for instance.
Well, here's another thought too. On this Google search that I did, they're showing Big Sur here at 10.9, that I can download it here. And then down here, I could download Big Sur at 11.7.
Mm-hmm.
Which one should I do?
I would do the newest because I'd do the 11.7 because that's going to jump a lot of the security upgrades and things, because it would probably at the 10 want you to do all the security updates that it does.
That would shorten the distance then between there and Ventura. from 11.7 to 13.1, 13.2.
And when they first release operating similar to what Bill said, I tend to wait a month before I upgrade because I want them to give like the first release of security upgrades.
Well, I understand all of that, and you know why I haven't done this, Lynn. I've had this Mojave since I got this computer in 19,
Mhm.
and I know that the minute I upgrade to anything newer than Mojave, I lose Adobe Photoshop, AI, and InDesign,
Mhm.
because they are not supported by anything newer than Mojave.
Mhm.
But because of some other software like the Microsoft package, which I use more frequently, it's time to do this. But when I checked this out the other day, I'm thinking, wow, Mojave to Ventura is a pretty serious leap in terms of software operating systems. And although Ventura is certainly compatible, and I could do it according to what Apple says, I'm just not sure that I need to go all that distance at this point in time. So you're basically suggesting I should go with this 11.7.3 and then leave it sit for a month or two and decide whether I want to go any newer than that.
Yeah.
Has anyone gone to Windows 11 yet?
Karen is on it because she got a new computer and that was the what was downloaded on it when she
Take it or
bought
leave it deal.
My wife has.
I don't know why I don't mind having my iPad upgrade automatically, but I'm not that comfortable with Windows. And no rational reason that I can say.
Is it the open source and how it's
Mhm.
people can customize it differently?
I use open source instead of Microsoft, but not the operating system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on Microsoft apps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's time for me to go to 11.
I know one person who said to keep on 10, but the people that I know are on 11 haven't minded it.
Kelly doesn't mind it.
So I don't think there's a right answer.
Right.
Looks a little Macish, actually.
It does. When Karen screen shared, I was like, oh my gosh, they became Apple. They're
Yeah.
trying. But let us know if you switch.
Hardware test and I can't upgrade to 11, so I'm stuck.
So yeah, if you upgrade, let us know if you like it.
What's that?
If Bill upgrades to 11, let us know what he thinks.
Yeah, I will. I keep getting nudges every now and then. I'm going to take them up on one of their nudges.
Yeah.
Doesn't it cost now?
Not from what I'm seeing so far.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know.
Cool. Good luck, guys. Sounds like everybody's got upgrades to do.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Have fun.
Well, Bill made reference to automatic updates on
Jean, you're
Jean, you're muted.
oh, sorry. Thank you.
On my iPad, I have it set for that.
Okay, I have it set on my phone and I don't get the updates automatically. It says automatic updates are on, but I have to do them manually.
Do you have a time of day that you've told them to do it? I mean, between certain hours, or
You're muted again.
you keep muting?
I'm sorry, I thought I turned the mute off. No, I don't. I don't think I have any time set to download and install. Are both on.
Sometimes it doesn't do it the first day it's released, but yeah, if you have that automatic updates on, it should do it eventually.
It's not a big deal for me. I've just sort of noticed this.
Doesn't really matter necessarily, but
Yeah.
Right.
you stay on top of it more than most.
You remind me to do that.
I try. Awesome. Well, I know we're past time for those of you who need to sneak off, so thank you for a depressing conversation and hanging in
Sorry.
there.
Oh, I had almost forgotten about that.
Now you reminded us.
Lynn, we need to let you go take a nap, and Stephen, it's good to see you. Hope you're feeling
Yeah, how
good.
you